Welcome, welcome, welcome to Liverpool 12th Man Show. I'm Liverpool 12th Man. Hope that all of you are doing well. And I appreciate you guys joining me today, either if it's on the replay or even if it's live. All the same, appreciate you all, especially if you're a Red. And I am here today to talk about our match up, our previous League Cup match. And it should be a fun little ride because considering what we had to engage in with the Manchester United matchup. This is definitely a welcome, diversion or a welcome, bounce back game to kind of get our guys into form, into the run of things, into the flow of things. They definitely look like they're having some fun and look like they're getting the relief of finding the back of the net. So it's good to see. It's always good to see people. Especially our Reds, joyous with the victories and the results that they're getting on the field. So it should be a fun time. I have a bunch of stats, a bunch of always like that. You know how I do my stats. And I also have obviously the players review. And we'll have a little quick little sneak peek at our Saturday matchup against the Gooners. I just got finished watching Gunnar Lee and Cecil J and the Coppish guys all talking and hearing Gunnar Lee talk about kind of put down our players, man. I'm telling you guys out there, you know what I mean? Like, I understand sometimes the discussions that we have in the forums that we have because I was on a couple of different platforms recently, and some of the attacks or some of the verbiage and dialogue that goes back and forth about some of our players is mad. But then again, you go and you see how rivals end up talking about our players. Hey, I can't sit quiet and allow that to happen. I don't do it. I don't sit quiet when our own fans do it, amongst ourselves. I'm definitely not letting a rival talk trash on a Red. That's just not happening. So anyway, big up to Dustin. Appreciate you, brother. Big up to Red for Life. I see you, my guy. All right, so let's just really get into this. I'm gonna switch the screens here so we can have some fun with this. I'm gonna show you guys some stats. It was pretty interesting. Oh, Psychedelic Shaolin, big up, brother. It's always a pleasure to have the Psychedelic Shaolin, formerly I believe the Psychedelic Scientist, Shaolin Monk, all the same. Big up. Oh, and John Conway in the house too. What's up, brother? How are you? Hope that you're well. Always positive to see the Reds. Let me say this. Let me just say this now. Like, oh, I know. Yeah, Oprah was in the building. Yeah, she was. She came, but she showed up late. I wanted her to show up for the man. You Red for Life. We were both chatting away. We were talking about how we were hoping that Oprah shows up and gives and does the whole like you get a goal. She definitely showed up a game late, but it's all good. It was an important game. It was a very important game that she showed up. So, she was probably all dressed in her purple and showed up and stuff today. So it was all good. But I wanted to also say big up to all of you guys for real. Before I even get into all the stuff, I got to say this again. I was on a couple different platforms and I was dealing with, engaging with fellow Reds and also just engaging with rivals and neutrals of the sort. And there is certainly a great vibe and element that goes along with the people and the participants in the chat for this channel. For this our community is a unique community in itself, but I just love the fact that I was dealing with who was I we were talking about? I think we're talking about Nunez and so, certain different players that are going through their patches and such. And it's just funny, as in the engagement, the dialogue, the way that we do engage, even if we don't have the same opinions sometimes, the way that we do conduct ourselves amongst this, in at least this forum here, is the kind of forum I like. This is the kind of forum I love. And it's a reason why I appreciate all of you guys, Dustin, Red for Life, Psychedelic Shaolin, John Conway, the various many others that show up and show love. It's a healthy conversation. And if anything, if we just continue to educate each other or maybe enlighten each other and such to the point where we become able to do these enter other forums and be able to maybe, bring a little love and a little light to others, it ends up being a good time. So that's the Red mentality I enjoy, and that's the reason why I want to make sure I said that. And big up to Rasta Crab representing Beijing Reds TV. Big up, big up, big up. Yeah, we got Rasta Crab. I definitely want to hear some of your takes on it, because on some of the people we're going to get into, because Rasta Crab is one of the people that I definitely enjoy listening to his conversations or his dialogue and everything. So it's all good. We're about to get into it. I was just doing my little positive thing real quick, getting it out there and making sure that I show the appreciation and gratitude I have for each and every one of you that show love by supporting this channel, sharing it, liking it, doing all that stuff. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate it immensely. But big up. So let's just get into this. So I actually have some cool little graphs, like as in the show, to kind of get an idea before we get right into the player ratings. I'm going to show you guys some stuff that I put together here. This is some of the stuff I have. Like basically, we had basically 29 shots to their 2. Like as in, what's been unique about it is I think there was a stat or something like that. So it was at 29, 34. So that's 63, right? 63. So in the last 2 games, we've had 63 shots total. Now, albeit not all the shots were on net or on target, blah, blah, blah. And especially when you add and you balance in what went on in the Manchester United game, it definitely makes it seem like a little bit like, oh, wow, we should have, why didn't we have more goals scored in that United match? Not getting back into that. Today was more of what we saw, which was more of the reality of what we should see against even low block teams. And that is once you open up that low block, you should be able to really get some results. I mean, you look at these stats, look at them as in, I put the momentum on there too, because I think that's very important. I think that's really, really saying a lot. Yeah, I'm hoping we saved all our goals. I do have some. I'm gonna see about trying to make some money this weekend, because I think I'm hoping that we can really bring it to them. A team, Arsenal, that we're contending with, but a team that we're going to seriously have to it's going to be a pain in the butt, because we're going to see him quite a bit. Oh, big up, Lucky. What up, Lucky? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I don't know if you heard it earlier, but yeah, thank you for joining us. Lucky's another participant. I love the fact that you guys, that when you do show up, you bring some real contributions. That's all, man. It's like the team. It's just like Liverpool. I just say, you know what? You don't have to be world class. You don't have to be this or that. Blah 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 blah. Just contribute, baby. Just contribute. That's what it's all about. Contributions is what it is. Hard work, dedication. Just contribute, baby. So anyway, I think that, and Lucky's comment here, I think is pretty cool. I think that it's going to be interesting. I'd like to see a final. I'd like to obviously see a final where it's Middlesbrough versus Liverpool in the final. That's the final I'm hoping for. And I don't care if people go and say, oh, well, you had an easy run, or you had an easy competition, or blah blah. I could care less. It doesn't say anything about that on the trophy. It doesn't say hard run or soft or light run, difficult run, whatever. I just care less. And it would be so great. And Chelsea is going to definitely do what Chelsea does against us always, which is just defend, and hope for a break. And yeah, it's going to be an ugly matchup. They're going to definitely play for draws. But let's just get into this though. This is what I was trying to get across to. And let me see. Let me make sure I can show the pointer. Okay, so what I like about this this stat is here. This right here is something big. Now I think it was like 10. I think it was like plus or over 10.5 was like, I don't know, 5 to 7 or something stupid. Like it was something like big. And normally when it comes for me, or when it comes to what I look for in a game, I usually look at this number right here. What are our corner kicks? Because if you look at it, look, we had 12 corner kicks and we had 20, and West Ham had 20 goal kicks. What that means to me is we obviously had the progression of the ball, progressive possession of the ball. We obviously were in their final third, but it also means that we're pressing a lot against getting goals, getting opportunities, getting shots on net, getting shots, period. Okay, whether they're going out off of deflections, whether there's being saves, whether they're whether it's people trying to make clearances, it's all the same. That's what I normally look for, and it's something that I think is important, because that kind of gives you a reference of who is really controlling the momentum. And that's why if you look at the momentum up here, it was all Liverpool first half, all Liverpool. It was almost like a practice session. And then the second half is when they just finally broke what they call the levee broke, basically. And that's when we just piled it on and went to town. But I like the fact that we were in control of it, obviously. I like the fact that we had 11 shots on target but yet it was a little bit more balanced as opposed to before, when it was like 8 shots out of the 34, I think, or something like that, were on target in that Manchester United game. This was definitely a more balanced approach, a more dedicated approach towards putting these shots on net, making the goalkeeper make saves or do some real performances. And that's why we had 4 big chances. That's why, we hit the woodwork once. We had 3 counterattacks. We had out of those 3 counterattacks, we had 2 opportunities. We had 1 counterattack goal. These are all like really, really cool and progressive stats. Another progressive stat that I saw in here was the passing. Look at that. We nearly doubled the passing of West Ham, 596 to 304. I mean, with 88% passing accuracy. When it came to long balls, it was 32 out of 58. We were decent amongst our on long balls. A little bit. I'd like to see better accuracy. One thing I would like to see a little bit better accuracy, and what I'm hoping that we get an opportunity to see this weekend, is I would like to see much more accuracy from our corners. I'm not saying that we have bad corner takers. We don't. We have some of the best corner takers in the world. But I would like to see more accuracy, more accuracy, and not only that, I would like to see more accuracy with the finishing when it comes to Virgil, or whether it's Ibu, or whether it's going to be Endo, I think, who's going to score a goal this weekend, I believe. And these are what I'm looking for more so when it comes to that. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but that's just something that I think, because when you look at it, we win our aerial duels. We do win quite a bit. And that's because, when it comes to our players, we have, whether it's Ibu or whether it's Virgil, we have some of the best players for aerial duels, just hands down best players, top of the league when it comes to that. So interesting. Look at this number right here, though. Do you see this number right here? They had 42 clearances. 42 clearances. That's ridiculous. 42 clearances. Jeez. So yeah. So let me see what the other stats. And then I'll show this one too. Because this is basically what we saw a lot of. This has got like our play area, where we were primarily playing. So primarily it was 39-37, but they did have a couple of different opportunities to utilize their attack, 24%, not much, but a little towards the end of the game, after when it was already done, dusted pretty much. But if you see it, what's very interesting, and this is something that we spoke about Manchester United. This is something I spoke about, the fact that like a lot of people were really commenting on the right wing play, how much we focused on the right wing, how much we played off the right wing, how much we were really, really right wing dominant. And we've been right wing dominant pretty much the entire year. One thing I liked about this approach, or this attack in this game, at least, look at where our attack's coming from, the left side. Predominantly, the attack for us came from our left side. Not many times do you hear us say that, really, this year at least, especially when you have a Mo Salah and everything else. And albeit Mo Salah, by Mo Salah not necessarily getting the start, it obviously made the emphasis go a different direction. And I'm not saying that I don't want to see Mo Salah start. I'm not saying that I don't think Mo Salah should get a lot of attention, or try to get involved, get him we should look to get him involved in the game. Not saying that at all. If anything, I'm saying yes. I'd love to get Mo involved in the game because he's one of our main goal scorers. But again, what I've noticed, at least by this, is that in this matchup, when we were looking at this matchup, at least, having Nunez and having Hakpo on the left side meant we were going to focus our attack via the left side. We weren't going to necessarily say, Harvey, we're looking for you to be Mo Salah. We're looking for you to be the person that we're going to give these diagonals to, or we're going to try to like focus and pinpoint you as being the focal point of our offense. And if anything, it's not saying that Harvey can't do that or Harvey can't, step up to the bar. Not at all. Obviously I've had Harvey join the conversation a couple of times, but having Nunez on the left, having Hakpo in the middle, which they exchanged often. It wasn't like that was, that they were just, hard pressed to be in those positions, or, in the sense of that you saw Cody in the middle all the time and Nunez always on the left. But what you did see on this is that you saw a lot more possession and progress and attention being put to the left side. It was so good to see. I liked it. I liked the switch up. I think that's what really actually created and presented them an emphasis of having to switch up their approach. West Ham, that is, as well. And albeit West Ham didn't have necessarily their strongest 11, but again, we didn't necessarily have our strongest 11 per se in there. So I don't want to hear that excuse as well. You can see a lot of our shots. I already showed you how a lot of our shots were primarily shots from inside the box this time. From outside the box still this time. 15 shots outside the box, 14 shots inside the box. But definitely a much more balanced approach as to where and how we're trying to take on those shots or those goal attempts. And you can see where we started to score from. We had 3 goals inside the box. We had the 2 shots that were just absolute incredible goals from outside the box too. And it was just a fun game. I thought this ended up turning out to be a game more so with what we liked to see. It's a matter of trying to like continuously work at breaking down the teams and everything else. This last stat or last, no, actually, no, I don't have to show this last stat. This is just the lineup. Let's just jump into this while I still got most of your attention. I know sometimes when people hear stats or see all these stats, they kind of like, glaze themselves out of listening sometimes. So let's just get into the fun part. Let's get into the player evaluations here. So this is gonna be fun because I thought that we had a very, very cool game to kind of go through. Now we're gonna start with our keeper, Kelleher. I'm happy with Kelleher being a backup goalie. I think that it's a hard bar to measure up to when you have the best goalkeeper in the world starting in front of you. I definitely think it's about what you make from that, in the sense of you utilize the opportunities when you're faced with them, obviously via injury or via rotation, but also you learn from him. Hopefully you learn from that player. You learn how to become a better goalkeeper. You learn how to become, the process that he takes that you can incorporate into your own game, and you learn from those things and you grow. And I think Kelleher has, done a good job as being the second fiddle. I know that there's been talks about him wanting to leave possibly towards the end of this year, or trying to be, or just finally take on the role of being a starting goalkeeper himself for a club team. It'll be a sad day if he does do that, but I'm happy that we have him for what we need, and that is for a goalkeeper like this. Now, Kelleher in this game, I thought had a good game. I didn't think he had a great game. I didn't think he had that much, obviously, to face. But at the very same time, I still think that he possibly could have done better with that with the goal that Bowen scored. I thought that the Bowen goal was still a good goal. I didn't think that. I think Kelleher could have cut off the angle a little bit better. He's a little, and he was possibly hoping that that Kwanzaa could have basically, because it was Kwanzaa that did mess up initially by allowing Bowen to get not only receive the pass, but then to like put him on the wrong foot, cause Kwanzaa to have to turn around, reset, and then even resetting that gave Bowen the space to actually get a goal, get a good shot off. And it was a good shot. It was a good goal. Bowen is a talented player. And this is now the second goal I've seen him score against us. I thought Bowen was average. I think that, Bowen was average. I thought that Kelleher was average. I'm only saying average because he didn't have much to take on. But again, letting in that goal was a little bit of a disappointment. I would have liked to see, if he got a clean sheet, I would have said above average, but I just had to put him as average, being that he should have made better work of that. I don't know. You guys can tell me if you guys think I'm being too harsh or being too easy, or if you guys think, if you want to put in any comments that you have with this, please do put them in the chat. You know how I am about including your guys' comments and getting you engaged and getting engaged in the commentary for the show. So now let's just move on to Tsimikas or Timikas. Actually, that's how it's pronounced. I never knew that. Actually, I thought it was Tsimikas, but I guess it's a hard T, as in like it's a Timikas. That's how at least the commentator on this side of the pond kept making a point to say it that way, and actually made a point to keep mentioning that Timikas is how you say his name. But anyway, Timikas is really stepping in and doing what we need him to do in the absence of our normal starting left back in Robbo. I like the fact that I always like to give our players a nice consistent run. I'd like to always say that they need to just get a real chance at getting into the flow, getting into understanding what it is, the roles that they're going to be playing, and getting really extra familiar with their teammates, obviously, and just getting into the flow of the game. I think Timikas has done that very well this year, and I thought he played well. I'd say above average for Timikas. Is that too high of a rating, or do you think he was average? Again, tell me if I'm being too strict or too lenient. Let's move on to Virgil. Now, Virgil, our captain, my captain, your captain. I thought Virgil played well. He obviously only played pretty much he played 60 minutes, didn't play a full game because we didn't have to. Obviously, we wanted him to get some work, but we didn't necessarily want him to have to, tire himself out for this big matchup in the weekend. But he wore the captain's band out there, which was cool to see. And our captain, my captain, your captain, again, I thought had a good game. I think Virgil's just once again solidifying himself as, the best defender in the world. I've said that from the very beginning. I said that, hey, you know what? True champions, true kings, you might be able to take over the kingdom, but a true king will win back his crown. I think that's what we've seen Virgil do. I thought Virgil had an above average game. I wouldn't say top tier, but I definitely think he had an above average game. I think going on, it was actually interesting to see too, because normally Kwanzaa plays in the role of Virgil in the sense of plays the left center back. And it was very, very promising, very interesting to see Kwanzaa in this right center back position. I'm saying that for this note. I'm saying that because we've seen, again, Kwanzaa in the left center back quite often, and obviously the future is Kwanzaa is one of the future center backs in our midst. But it could be a shout to say what will happen, or to see what happens with the fight now that Matip's going through his lengthy recovery, and I do wish him Godspeed on the recovery. But now with the top tier center backs on our team now being basically Ibu and Kwanzaa, it should be very interesting to see if Kwanzaa has the same killer mentality that he has in that whole statement that he said about Matip. If he has the same concept of trying to take over that number 2 spot from Konate, and that's a good shout that he very well could be be someone that could very well challenge Konate for it. I'd love to hear you guys comments on that one. If you think that maybe it should be Kwanzaa in that first chair and Konate in the backup role. It's very interesting. And if we do see that, I definitely think that Konate might look either Konate is going to have a decision of either fighting for that position because he loves Liverpool like that, or he's going to have a decision of saying, I'm going to just allow for it to be this way and, maybe do what we were talking about Kelleher did and look for the next door out. And I don't want to see that happen. But I'd like to hear if you guys think that that's a solid shout. So with that said, I thought Kwanzaa had a good game too. But I'm going to be honest, that letting in the goal or letting what happened possibly knocked him down to an average performance for me. I thought that little spell kind of made it a real difference in the game in the sense of they were starting to definitely propel and go forward. It was I believe one of the, if not their first shot on net, if anything, but it looked like it was a little bit. I think I didn't like how his positioning was for the goal. Basically, I thought that he ended up getting turned around and twisted, and that's where that's just a matter of of the young man possibly getting caught out and not being ready for that chance, and it is what it is. So I had him as an average. Not saying it's a bad performance. I would have put above average, but I just think that play that right there kind of showed a little bit of his youth right there. So I put him as average. It's not a knock. It's not saying he had a bad game. It's saying that if I was giving him, I would have given him a C performance at that. So let's see. Moving on, we move on to our moving on to the most tenured Liverpool player on this team, our beloved little Joey. How do you guys feel about Joey? I think that is so great to see that he's performing at a level that is more reminiscent of what Joey means to this club and what talent level he does have. I thought Joey did have, some real stinkers last year, but it seems like, and it looked like it really affected his mindset. It really affected his mental. I think he's past that, and that's good to see. I like the fact that he's taken on a real leadership role, behind the scenes leadership role, knowing that he is, getting to that mid round age. And also I like the fact that Joey is so versatile in the sense of he can play left back, he can play left center back, he can play right center back, he can play right back. I like the fact that he is a true utility player when it comes to our center backs. It's something that we need, especially considering, with the injury to Matip and considering, a lot of the uncertainty with the back line being with Robbo out and with Matip out. It presents a lot more emphasis of us having players that are ready and able to play. And I like the fact that Joey has definitely done his due diligence this year. I would put Joey as an above average. I thought he played well. I thought he allowed for us to do a lot more things in this game that we want to see this team be able to do. And I thought that he did well. Let's see. Next on the list, we have, let's go with Dom. So what was very interesting about this matchup today was that we played Dom on the left as opposed to his normal played Dom on the right, excuse me. I don't know why I said that. Dom on the right, excuse me. And what I meant was we played Dom on the right, but we had Curtis on the left and we had Endo in the middle. So this a lot of people have been really emphasizing the fact that they want to see a destroyer, emphasize they want to see a DM in the likes of a destroyer in that role. And by doing so, having a destroyer in Endo, it allows for Dom, allows for Curtis to do a lot more things going forward and have those options of taking on a more offensive-minded approach towards the game. It ends up resulting in our midfield, once again, scoring. Something that we can't say that we've seen before. Like as in last year, that was not the case. There were goals, certainly, from our midfield. Every blue moon, we got a goal from our midfield. But our goals primarily were all centered upon us getting goals from our front line. And that was that. And we were just hampered on the sense that if we weren't getting goals from our front line, chances are you were going to be able to stop us from scoring. I like the fact, and this is something I want to emphasize, I like the fact that this team that Klopp has put together, and Klopp, Pep, and even the back staff for Liverpool have put together, this team has now become a more versatile team when it comes to scoring goals, and where those goals are going to come from. Again, I showed you the stat, or showed you the stats, or the feature that showed a lot of where our goals or where our shots were coming from. 15 from outside the box, 14 from inside the box. Showed you how 3 of them were scored from inside the box, 2 of them were scored from outside the box. I just like the fact that we're able to now, not have to just solely rely on Mo or solely rely on our front line being the scoring presence for us. I want to see our front line score, obviously. I think that the fact that we have one of the best front lines in football is a great thing. But, I like the fact that our midfield is really shaping into form with their goal contributions. I like the fact that they're looking to contribute for the goal contributions, not just looking to be facilitators and work engines in the middle of the pack. Like that's what we had when we had our Nabbies or our Hendos or our Fabinhos. When those guys were roaming the midfield, we were just looking at them as being workhorses. Being the people that fight for us on defense and protect against the counter strikes and try to basically be the work engine and everything else for us. Now suddenly we have young work engines that can score and look to score, know they can score. And I like that. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that assessment, but I'm really excited about that. And when it comes to Dom, Dom was going through a real tough spell. He's going through a real tough spell with trying to find the space, trying to find some obvious ideal situation to be able to contribute to this team. And initially, in the beginning of the year, same system, people, but in the beginning of the year, he was contributing because his work ethic, and work rate was off the charts, and it was resulting in hard work. It was resulting in success. But now, almost any and every player will go through like little spells. He was going through a little spell where it just wasn't clicking. He was maybe pressing too much. Something I said of Cody, something I said of Curtis, something I've said of Dom. All of them were pressing just a little bit too much at the bill to try to get that goal, to get that ease and release. All we had to work for was just, hey, the game will come to you. And it has definitely progressed for Dom. And I think that's why I think Dom is one of the players. I love the fact that we have him, and the fact that we've already seen all the rivals and neutrals so quick to be like, to jump on this bandwagon of trying to say that Dom isn't a dynamic player, or Dom doesn't have, potential world-class ability. I mean, the guy is a young, 22? I want to say 22. He's a young man, so there's so much uptick for him. Let me see. I'm going to include a quick comment. I saw a comment come in. Lucky's saying Harvey was putting in a shift. Dom was being prime Dom, and Kelleher was I. Yeah, that's well put. Well put, Lucky. I agree with that completely. So for Dom, how are we saying? Are we giving him a top tier performance? We're saying we're giving him let's put Dom as a top tier performance. I think Dom had a really, really good showing. I think he had a really good showing. Endo. How are we feeling about Endo? I think that people are finally starting to understand what it was that I was saying in the beginning of the year. I don't know if like the guys from Copish or some of the other people that I sent the scouting report it to understood it or not. But hey, it is what it is. Didn't. Okay, so I'm going to put, Lucky just put a very long comment. That's why I wanted to make sure. Let's see. Okay, so let me see this comment. This is an interesting comment. So again, says, man, the team and players didn't do well. Even Nunez, even if he doesn't look as confident as he used to. Benfica scammed us. Cody Gakpo scored a goal, so he did his job along with Salah. And then, so I'm gonna have to dissect that down. I think that look, the Portuguese league is getting an opportunity to take in a lot of South American talent, and it's because obviously the language barrier isn't as difficult of a language barrier, especially if you're Brazilian, to be able to utilize in Portugal. So, obviously Portuguese is the native language for Brazil. So if you're Brazilian, obviously it's a natural progression to go there. Now, when it's Portuguese and Spanish, yes, they're two different languages, but there are some nuances between the two that allow for a lot of people that do speak Portuguese to be able to speak some Spanish, if not be able to understand or be able to communicate in Spanish. So when it comes to a lot of the South American players progression towards Europe is usually done through a league like Portugal, because it ends up being an easier league for them to adjust and adapt to culturally and everything else. I know we're on Endo because I wanted to speak about Endo, but I'm just trying to deal with this statement real quick. So I just think personally that okay, let me make sure I get his statement right. Okay, so he's saying, I meant to say the team did well. Okay, Nunez isn't confident. It's now sad because bro just passed when he doesn't find space or fails to cut it. I agree, and that's something that is scary. You don't want a striker to have a lack of confidence, because then they'll be gun shy and they will end up passing on shots and passing on the takes, because they just don't want to deal with the criticism. They don't want to deal with having a lot of the emphasis and spotlight be pressed on them. But one thing I can say is that Nunez did get an assist that game. So and it was a well put and well placed assist. So I've always been saying that for me, when it comes to players, again from my earlier statement just contribute. I want to see our striker score. Absolutely. I want to see our striker bag mad goals. But at the very same time, I want to see you just contribute. As long as you mainly contribute one way or another, whether it's through assists, whether it's through opening up channels for other players to score, whether it's just about continue to contribute to the flow and contributions of the team so that we get results and success. That's all I care about. You don't have to necessarily have incredible GA or this or that. For me, I look at those things more so than just what it is. What is your GA? I understand GA is definitely currency, but I also like to say it like that. Make sure I have this out there. So for Endo, how are we feeling about Endo? I think Endo had a really good game, to be honest with you. I think when Endo is allowed to play his game, which is basically being the dog, being our Rottweiler on the pitch, when Endo is allowed to just utilize his emphasis of determination, his emphasis of never giving up, his high work rate, And also being able to just link up, pass quickly, easily, not be looked as someone to be some dynamic passer or facilitator. Just do what you're supposed to do. Play your role. That's all we're asking. Play your role. Every team has roles for players. His role is what he's exactly doing. Do fouls when necessary. Continue to pursue players. Shield the ball from players causing them to foul you. Quickly link up play to the facilitators on our team, whoever that might be at the time. Whether it's Dom, whether it's Curtis, whether it's Elliot. Utilize those players as being those links to get those quick passes to, and just be Endo, man. I just like the fact that Endo puts the mouth guard in and just goes and tries to make it happen. Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Endo, Japanese Busquets, and big up to Jarrell Kwanzaa. Yeah, for sure. No worries. I got you, Lucky. I got you. Gomez was good, like the G in his name. I for sure agree with that. I like it, brother. I thought Endo had a good game. I thought he played well. I think he played above average, and just did what we need him to do. And I like the fact that, again, people are starting to not only warm and understand what it is I've been saying this entire time. Like I've had, I went at it with, because I was on, I wasn't a participant in the panel, but I was in the chat, and I was, really going back and forth with some of the comments that was being said on a rival station that was referencing or talking about Liverpool with Liverpool participants. And I'm not going to mention the person's name, but one of the individuals tends to throw a lot of our players, like, this is what happens. A lot of people will say something like, you'll hear someone just go off about, this player or that player, throwing them under the bus, talking about how much they don't rate him, how much he's trash, how much he's this, how much he costs, how much he's that, how much, all these negative things, and sometimes pushing their agendas. And then the player has a good game, and all of a sudden he's talking about the player as if like he never said those comments. And it's just one of those things where I'm just like, nah, man, we all got receipts, man. I got my receipts on, people got their receipts on me. I got receipts on other people as well. The internet doesn't forget, man. And like, it's one of those things when you hear people make those comments, I'm going to call you out for them. And I'm sure people call me out for my comments too. So, what I was referencing is that like in the same thing is funny because, this guy says something on the lines of like, Endo is what he is, he's like, he's nothing great. I think he's like, he's whatever and blah, blah, blah. And then in the same breath, he talks about how like, oh, but I always knew that Endo is doing, I gave him credit for doing this last game. I gave him credit for doing that. And I'm just like, oh, you know what? We don't even care. Like, as in, like, it's like one of those things, like, you get an invite, you don't get the invite to the party and you trash the name of the party. But then once you find out that the party's popping, now all of a sudden you want to go, you start giving out the big ones, giving out the big shout outs and everything. Come on, dude. Just understand it. You got the wrong, your agenda's blase. So it is what it is, but it's all good. So anyway, big up to Cedric. I see you, brother. Cedric Lopez in the house. Big up 12th man. And the chat, he's saying, happy holidays to you and your fam. Oh, appreciate that. To your fam and all, for sure. And I same as well. Happy holidays to everyone, as well as we come as we approach closer to the Christmas day. And whether you're dealing with, or whether you celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, anything, and whatever you're saying, maybe just sell a holiday period, whatever it is, I hope that your family's well and good in this joyous time. We move on to Cujo, my guy Cujo, the must-maligned Curtis Jones, a guy that I said, hey, he looked a little bit, a couple games ago, he looked a little bit out of it, looked down, it looked like he was really searching for this game. He had been pretty much replaced somewhat or supplemented from from the front, being a natural in the starting 11. And I've been obviously last year I was a Curtis Jones guy. I've been always a Curtis Jones guy. I've always liked the fact that he's a Scouser. I understand and represent and I understand and appreciate more so than ever. I'm not a Scouser technically, but I believe I am a Scouser by association. Okay, so I'll pick up the accent soon enough. Maybe I just need to go to the Buza a little bit more, but like all the same. Curtis Jones, I think Curtis Jones had a top tier performance. Curtis Jones was balling yesterday. I think that, it is what it is, but I think Curtis Jones understands. This is why I wanted to see him in the Man U game, tell you the truth. I would have liked to see him in the Manchester United game because I know Curtis Jones, especially being a scout, like I said, and understanding the rivalry, understanding the levels and everything else. I thought that Curtis Jones could have necessarily helped us in that matchup a little bit more so. But he just came out and played his game, man. I mean, he just came out and showed that he understands the system. He understands the fact of, hey, these opportunities, maybe the sense of having this, being a solidified starting 11 player in the beginning of the year, seeing that start to, dim a little bit with the emergence of Ryan and the progressive potential of that player, pressing him for that left mid role. I like the fact that Curtis is taking the responsibility and really, really stepped up. And I think that was a great performance this Wednesday. Let's see. As someone who always believed about CJ and Harvey, this is Dustin saying this. As someone who has always believed about CJ and Harvey quality, it's a joy to see them manifesting. Dustin, I am right there with you, and that's exactly how my statement before and what I'm saying now is exactly under that testament. I agree. I like the fact that there's a lot of pressure. I understand that everyone wants world-class names and wants these world-class style players and everything else, but it is special. It is extremely special when you see your youth academy players or players, especially, once again, let me emphasize this, especially when you see a local lad get the opportunity to play for the local team. It means something. It really does really resonate. It resonates for me. I mean, heck, I love my Eagles, for Philadelphia Eagles, for instance, and they even made a movie out of like one of the players that was a local guy. They ended up like walking onto the team and everything else. It's like one of those things where when you have a local lad that really puts in the commitment, understands the real emphasis of and meaning that this club means to the city, much less just how much these games mean in general to us globally or just us in general as being Liverpool fans. It means something, and I like to see that. So big up to Cujo. All right, so we then move on to let's move on to Curtis. I'm gonna leave my man Nunez to last. Let's move on to Curtis. I think Curtis had would we say Curtis had a top tier, or are we saying above average? I would like to say Curtis had a top tier performance, to be honest with you. I want to honestly say he had a top tier performance. I thought Harvey was engaged. I thought he was electric at times. I think he was committed. I think that obviously with the energy and the amount of work rate that he brings to the pitch, I think that Curtis, doesn't have any hesitation of trying to track back to show the commitment on defense. I just think that he has a real top commitment. And I love the fact that he's made an honest effort and an honest commitment to his role once again. Curtis was top. I got you. Top tier. Red for Life is saying, Curtis and Harvey were amazing last night. Those young men play their hearts out for the badge every time they walk on the pitch. That dedication is invaluable. Spot on, brother. Psychedelic Shaolin says top tier for Curtis, for Harvey. I agree. How about then for Cody? who started which was very interesting to see that he started didn't necessarily always play in the middle, but started in the middle. How do we feel about that? Oh, big up, big up. I love Liverpool in the house. I love Liverpool too. But big up to you, brother. Yes. Okay, I got your man. I got it. I got you with your man of the match. We're gonna get to that. These top tiers mean that if you're in the top tier, it means you're a candidate for man of the match, obviously. So your guy is definitely in there. But let's see it. How are we feeling about Cody? I thought, yes, I agree with you, Shaolin. I thought the goal was well needed, well taken, but well needed from Curtis. I was very, very critical of him in that Manchester United game when he took the shot and could have passed it to Cujo, but decided to take the shot and ended up being a somewhat lackluster of a shot. And we ended up obviously drawing that matchup. This game, different story. He took the shot when it was approachable, when it was ready, and he got the result that we needed from him. Cody, excuse me. Are we putting top tier, or are you just doing that above average? How are we doing? How are we rating Cody? Top tier or average? Because I'm gonna say something different, interesting about Nunez when it comes up to Nunez. But Cody in the middle unlocked Darwin from the left. That's what Liverpool's saying. I think that's cool. I think that Cody in the middle allowed for Darwin to have more space to be able to go central when he needed to go central, but also allow for Cody to do the false nine style role of playing defensive measures, of being the presser and keeping that press involved. I agree with you on that. But what are we saying for our guy Cody? It's a tough call. I mean, like, are we gonna because of the goal, do we put him in top tier? He's definitely above average. I don't necessarily know if he had a top tier performance, but I would say I would agree with what Psychedelic Shaolin's saying right here, which is I think he had an above average performance. I think that he performed well, did his job. Obviously, I think how many minutes did he play? He ended up playing 78 minutes, so he got a very consistent run. I think Cody had an above average. I'm not going to put him in the top tier. I know that some might want to bump him up to top tier because of the goal, and because of the work rate and everything else. I just think that he definitely had a good performance. I wouldn't go as far as to say top tier performance, but I would definitely say above average. If you guys want to put different than me and Shaolin, I'd be like, yeah, he was on the cusp. I give you that. I love Liverpool. Cody was on the cusp. Like there was just one or two. Like I don't know what it is, but it was just like he didn't like leave me wanting, but he definitely was on the cusp of having that breakout game. But that goal, yes, that goal was just pure filth from that goal. And it goes to show you what he has. Like I've watched again rival shows. I've watched neutrals, and I've watched our own content creators in our side of the community, in the Reds community, kind of like not really give the praises that Cody was getting initially, and I think that that's silly. I think Cody's one of our more dynamic players, and I think that I think that Cody's really going to have once he starts to get into form, like we saw last year, towards the end of last year, and what we saw in the beginning of this year before he got the Tottenham. I mean, the man got injured in the Spurs matchup and still, progressed on to score a goal. That's just Liverpool right there. That's just a true red in my mind. All right. So then if we're only giving Cody an above average, How are we feeling about Darwin's performance? How are we feeling about Darwin's performance? I'll let Liverpool, I love Liverpool, have the last line for, or last mention about Cody. This is what I love, excuse me, getting a little tongue-tied. I love Liverpool has to say. Let me take a little swig here. I love Liverpool says, yeah, he's been consistently decent, but been played all over the pitch. That's what I think so too. Needs a run in the same position. I agree. He needs a run in the same, in like to say, look, we're going to play you at center forward, or we're going to play you at left wing, and we're not going to like try to utilize. I don't want to see Cody utilized as a complete utility player. I like the fact that Cody has versatility to play left wing and center forward. Not saying that, but what I am saying is that I don't want to see him being pushed and pressed and playing left midfielder, center forward, left wing. Like as in, let's just get him focused on being a forward, and let's try to figure out where we're going to utilize him primarily and give him a consistent run in that role. I agree with that completely. So there's going to be some very interesting analysis when it comes to Darwin. Much beloved, often much beloved, but often maligned. Darwizzy, the Invasor, what are the other nicknames? The Pantera, right? Or as I or as I referenced before, and because I've been following ever since we got linked to him, I've been following his career. Even did a lot of research on him before. Darwin, the next Cavani. That's his nickname. That was his original nickname. Uruguay, stand up. They had him as the next Cavani. So, how are we feeling about Darwin? I like the fact that we're going to get, because this Darwin's such a very interesting, when it comes to him, it's very interesting how quickly he can split the fan base, and obviously rivals are going to say the trash that they want to say about him, and highlight and do the parrot punditry bull crap. I love Darwin though. I love Darwin. Pause. I don't care. I love Darwin. I love that he's a Red. I love the energy he brings. I love the commitment that he puts into it. I love the chaos that people reference. I love the commitment that he brings. I love the fact that he plays for the badge. That I loved. I watched the holiday special. If you guys got to see that, it's a cool little special. Doesn't matter if you're if you celebrate Christmas or not. And I love the fact that he's in a car. He's in a car with a guy dressed as Santa, and it's Cody in the back, and it's Curtis behind him. Curtis and Cody in the back seat. So you got a Scouser, a Dutchman, and a Uruguayan. And I don't know where I think possibly that the driver was probably from Liverpool. I'm not certain. So, but they're driving around, going to Mickey D's, and and just going to random people, going to bus stops, and stopping at bus stops, and it's like, it's one of those things that I saw like this. There's a elderly woman on there, and she's on the phone, and she's like, "Oh, I can't believe it, they're all here." And one of the first people that she mentioned primarily was Darwin's here, and I'm just like, yeah, man, people. I know that people are split in the fan when it comes to the Twitterverse, and when it comes to socials, that we're a little bit more split as to what we get in opinion for Darwin. But when it comes to, I personally think when it comes to people in actually Liverpool, when it comes to those that go to the games, there is a devout and absolute love for this guy that is very, very endearing. It's the reason why, despite the fact I fight my battles online against, again, rivals, our fellow fan base, neutrals, whatever, I fight and do my defense league for him. But all the same, there is a real concerted love when you hear the Nunez. Like, you can tell people do love this guy. He doesn't have exactly, how can I put this to give it true measure? His smile is certainly endearing as endearing as Bobby's smile to me. I love when Bobby smiled, he lit up the room. It's good when you see this guy smile. It's good when you see him happy. That's just what I'm trying to say. That's a little bit of the bromance I'm doing. But, but yeah, how are you feeling about it? Let me drop these comments in here because I know how and where I would like to on the tier. I know what I believe. But Dustin is saying Darwin was supreme. Okay. I Love Liverpool has Darwin as above average. Psychedelic Shaolin is saying Darwin was cooking above average. I loved when he did the drag back and left foot shot. Yes, left footed too, by the way. Didn't try to get it to his right foot. His more predominant, his preferred foot. He ended up just taking a crack with his left foot, which is great to see. I agree with that completely. I Love Liverpool says Darwin on the cusp too for me. The ball he played to Jones for the goal was chef's kiss, bro. Yes, for sure. For sure. Cody's suffering from what Foden is suffering, just getting moved around the pitch, jack of all trades. That's what Lucky's saying, referencing our earlier comments or conversation about Cody. I Love Liverpool is saying Darwin top tier if he hits the inside of that post for real. Okay, I got you. Facts. Big up. Face blues. Oh, okay. I guess that they put a emoji. Carmino, definitely good to see you. Welcome. Definitely contribute. Get to know the chat because these are all your brothers and sisters in here. If you are a red, for sure. The Darwin Civil War. Yes, it is. It is the Darwin Civil War, brother. It is. I'm Ulysses Grant for sure on the Darwin Civil War. Wanted Darwizi to score, but above average. Okay, Cedric. Okay. And bro, Twitter is just nothing but a drop in the pebble in a lake or ocean. I agree with you. All right, so I saw what do we see here? An above average from Cedric. We saw we had a above average from Psychedelic Shaolin, above average from I Love Liverpool. Okay. Wow. I'm going to be controversial here in saying that personally, I thought, and if you look at the statistics, I thought that he certainly had an above average performance. But I would say this. I thought that he had a top tier performance because he's playing on the left wing, not center forward. So what we're expecting from him might be a little bit different. And the fact that he was willing and the fact that he's not under this like, oh, I'm not playing center forwards now, I'm going to throw my toys and get angry and make a big stink and not play at best of my performance. He had 4 shots on goal. Let's see. I think he had one block shot. He had a really good shot that was saved. I thought he had a shot that ended up hitting the bar because of that. Because I think it hit the bar, right? He had one miss, and then he had and then his other shot was another save. So he had a decent approach when it came to the game. Let me pull up some of these stats too here. So he had 1 assist, was a beauty of an assist actually too. I agree with that. He had 2 shots on target, 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked, 1 hit the woodwork. Yeah, I was right about that. He had 3 out of 5 dribble attempts, 44 touches. Notice his touches went up a lot more than his touches in the previous game. 16 out of 19 for his passing, 4 key passes, 1 for 1 for long balls, 9 out of 14 for his duels. 9 out of 14 wasn't the greatest from aerial duels. 2 out of 7, but was fouled once, fouled twice, had 2 fouls, and was offside 3 times. I think this offsides, if we just rein in those offsides, I think sometimes those offsides are just because he's so wanting to get behind, he wants to get on that front foot. He could beat everyone on that front line. There's no reason for him to be going offsides. He's just so anxious. And if anything, our players have to look to get him that ball, get him those through balls a lot quicker and a lot more prevalent for him to get behind. But I want to say he had a top tier performance. I know that's scary. I know that's understandable. I want to say he had a top tier performance. Maybe that's me wanting a little bit too much from it. I don't know. I definitely know. Obviously, if he had scored a goal, it would have been what made a difference. He did have an assist. Can we say this though? Can we say this? And this is something I want to make sure I get this point through. When it comes to contributions, obviously we want to see our striker score. Obviously, we want to see Darwin score. He's getting paid to score. We bought him to score. There's a lot more than just scoring goals and getting assists sometimes. And I'm going to say it from this romantic perspective. By opening up the game for others, you might allow for your contributions to amount to what we saw with the assist to Curtis, or what we see from Dom, or what we see from opportunities that arise for other players because of your commitment to contribute. I think that as long as you put in the work and you continue to contribute, good things will amount to success. And that's what we see. We've seen it with Harvey. We've seen it with Curtis. It all just really was on display in this matchup. We saw it with Dom. Despite him going through his little drought, we saw it really, really pay off for him. I'm going to keep him in top tier. We can bump him down we can bump him down to above average if it gets to there, if we get to there. But I just like the fact that Darwin is still going out there. He's still going out there with a commitment, with the badge on his chest. I can't emphasize this enough. He loves Liverpool. Liverpool, despite what we hear with from Nunez's dad talking about Barcelona and that crap and stupid stuff like whatever, despite whether it was Coutinho or whether it's players that talk about other teams as if they are the pinnacle of where they want to be. I don't hear that from Darwin. I don't get that vibe from Darwin. Darwin loves the fact that Darwin looks at it as he has this opportunity to be a part of one of the greatest, one of the most historic clubs in football, period. He has an opportunity to set himself as a player in the illustrious, history of this historic club. And I like the fact that there's no looking. It doesn't seem like Darwin's looking at this club as a stepping stone. He's not looking at it as, oh, I'm going to go to Liverpool and try to ball out so I can get a move to Real Madrid or to a club that possibly where the culture or where the fanhood or where the people might speak the language and make him feel a little bit more comfortable in being able to say whatever he is that he wants to say. I like that he loves this club and that he wants to do well for us and he wants to give us and bring us glory. I love Darwin. I do. I love him. I love our number 9. So it is what it is. I'm going to keep him in top tier. He's not going to get man of the match. We're not going to go that far, but I'm going to keep him top tier. Let's see. Let me see what some of these comments are, because I love the comments. I love each and every one of you guys too, equally so. He's saying, let's see. I love Liverpool is saying sometimes he's at fault, but most offsides are for midfielders holding the ball too long. 100%. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I think that sometimes it's just the what is the word I'm looking for? The link, the psychic link, has to be more in tune. Whereas they just know he's going to make that run, and they just got to know that they're going to give him the ball, that kind of deal. And then Lucky is saying Luton won more games than the Detroit Pistons, I think. Okay, possibly. Detroit's not having that great of a year this year. Psychedelic Shaolin saying Darwin was more effective at left wing compared to Lucho recently. Wow, that's an interesting take. I love Liverpool saying not controversial to me, bro. Laughing out. Stick him to tier bros a menace. To top tier bros a menace. I feel you, brother. I feel you. I appreciate the support. And then Lucky is saying all South American children and players have a dream of playing for Barca and Real Madrid, but I think this is in Lucky's opinion. Enjoy having them here at LFC. I do too. I love the fact that I think that there's if we're ever going to break that cycle, or at least put another option in that cycle when it comes to wanting to bring South American talent to a city or a club like Liverpool, to be even a mention or a topic that they want to play for, other than, let's say, your Real Madrids and your Barças. I think it's by bringing in players like your Bobbies, bringing in your Fabinhos, bringing in your players, even like your Coutinhos, bringing in these more iconic players in those countries, bringing in your Darwins, bringing in your McAllisters, bringing in these players that play and are beloved in these countries, that have young players, players in those leagues in those countries, playing to a standard and level that is high. There's a high standard, and having them look across the pond to see these players playing for Liverpool, and these players, once again, not looking at Liverpool as a stepping stone, but looking as a destination, as a destination. That's when and where you will finally see some of these players looking to play for Liverpool more so as a destination club, as opposed to oh, this is a club to get me to La Liga, or this is a club, or this is just a temporary place or something like that. I want to see that happen for Liverpool, and I think that showing the love and showing the commitment and having these players resonate that kind of feeling, I think will make one day make a dent in players. Like, how great would it have been if we could, have a Bobby, speak to an Endrick, and have and like kind of utilize, or influence him to come and join Liverpool, or a player like a player like that to want to come and play here. I mean, the whole reason why we were even looking at Andre, for instance, is because of Fabinho. Fabinho mentioned it to the club and mentioned about, already knew that Andre was going to be moving into his role of DM for the Brazilian national team, and he's one of the reasons why we started monitoring his play. It's very interesting, to say the least. I love Liverpool saying, yeah, bro, you see the difference. This is I love Liverpool saying, yeah, bro, you see the difference when he plays with Jones versus new boy Ryan. Better understanding. It will happen for sure. And I love Liverpool. Also saying, like, too many fans are negative on our whole new midfield, when really should be hyped how good they've been. I think they should be hyped on how much it's just it's absolute, like, it's an absolute hit the ground running change from our midfield last year. So much about our midfield was just weighed and targeted upon players that you loved because they were Liverpool players that have gone through the wire, as Kanye would say, like through the fire and through the hardships, and fought for you. But realistically, they just didn't have the legs, they just didn't have the availability, they just didn't have that to make it happen for us, and I'm hyped over this. And Lucky has to say, I would rather Man City to win the UCL than Bayern, because if Bayern win it, then that means they would have one more UCL than us. Also, I would love to see Simeone win it. He deserves it very much. We really missed, and then he also goes on to say, we really missed goal-scoring midfielders. That's what I said earlier, too. I said that earlier. I said that the fact that we are getting goals for our midfield is a new feeling in itself. Come on, let's just be realistic. It's a new feeling in itself. So Let's get into our. Let's get into our. Let me make sure I have everyone in there. Yeah, I do. Let's get into our subs. Make sure I have our subs. Trent, Mo. Oh, and I don't have Connor Bradley on as a picture just yet. I gotta get a picture of him. So for Connor Bradley, let me just say this. He got in on the 69th minute. I thought Connor played good. I'll just say I'm gonna give Connor an average rating. Let me just say that from the gate. Because since I don't have a picture of him. But for Ibu, we're coming into the home stretch here. For Ibu, how are we feeling about Ibu? I thought Ibu had a average performance. Is anyone saying he had above average? I mean, he came in, he did his duty, didn't necessarily like wow anyone or do anything extremely impressive. I have him as an average. No, it's not a knock against Ibu at all. I don't think that he had a bad game. I just don't think that he had he did have 30 minutes to make a difference, and I don't think that he made that. He was on the pitch for that goal, so that gets a little bit of a knock. But yeah, I think that he had an average performance. Okay. Oh, you know what? He did make a couple of runs. That's a good point. He did have a couple of big runs. All right, I'll give him above average. He was on the cusp of average, above average, but he did have some big runs. You're right. You're right. I love Liverpool. This is why I'm a man of the people. Mighty Red's Army always. True and true. How about for Salah? Or no, let's go in order. Yeah, Salah and Trent both came in together. So for Salah, how we feel about Salah's performance? Salah did have a goal. I guess I know a lot of people will possibly say, oh, well, other than the goal, what did he do? I don't know if that's an average performance. You can't necessarily it's very difficult to put someone as an average performance when they scored a goal, and it was a good goal. Can we say he had a sitter that he did miss? He did miss an absolute sitter. It was that shot from Nunez that he should have scored on. Above average? Average? How we feel about Mo? I have him at above average for temporary now. That's just a temporary spot. I thought I don't know. I thought someone that did play well was Trent. Are we giving Trent a top tier performance, or are we giving Trent an above average performance? I thought Trent had a very good performance in the limited amount of time that we saw him in. I mean, obviously we saw him in 30 plus minutes. I thought that seeing him in that midfield role, seeing how, once he stepped on the pitch, you could see the level, the gears for the Liverpool Ferrari just went straight to 6. I would put him as a top tier performance from Trent. I thought Trent played really, really well. Nothing negative against him from me, at least. If you think elsewise, please let me know. And last but not least, Lucho. Lucho came in very late in the game, 70th minute. Came in for Cody. I thought that Lucho was. He was okay. Got average. Yeah, I know. I could say that. We could easily say that. Above average for Salah. Interesting. And Ibu above average, but I thought Lucho had an average game. He didn't have necessarily that many minutes to get involved or get crazy. But what I liked about Lucho was that Lucho was looking to do take-ons. Let me pull up Lucho's statistics for us real quick. He only played 12 minutes. Only had 1 attempt, 11 touches, 1 out of 2 for ground duels, 1 for 1 from long balls. Lost the ball 4 times and had 1 tackle. Nothing super great, nothing super horrible. But I like the fact that Lucho came on, despite the fact that he came on the pitch just to kind of get a run, get his legs warmed up, knowing that I believe that Lucho will be one of the players that starts this weekend. I think he will start for us against Arsenal, primarily because I think he tends to cook Arsenal, to be honest with you. He does tend to cook. against Arsenal. But I'm going to say that he had an average performance. It's really difficult to put Salah in an average performance with a goal. But I can understand why people would put Salah in average. I don't know. How do you guys feel about these ratings? You think I'm being too harsh? Is there someone that you noticeably say should be someplace else? And then let's just get the voting in on for man of the match. Because we're coming up on the 90th minute, and I'm going to end on the 90th minute. So I want to definitely get all your comments in and get the rating, get the man of the match in here. But I Love Liverpool is saying Lucho always trying to collect lunch money in the streets. But yeah, average. I got you on that comment. That's funny. I thought he had an average performance. Nothing great. Didn't have that much time to cook, but all the same, he does like to he does look to try to sit people down quite a bit. And I think he has the ability to do so. I did move Salah in the average despite having a goal. And I have Ibu up in the above average rating. Who we have as man of the match? I know that let's see. I know that there was one vote already placed in for. There was one vote in here already for. What was it? For I Love Liverpool had Cujo as his man of the match. So that's one vote for man of the match for Cujo. I believe someone else had Cujo as man of the match as well. And let's see. I think Cedric had him as man of the match as well. I don't want to speak from him. Harvey, Dustin's man of the match. Very interesting shout. Very interesting shout. Why do you think? Why do you have Dustin? Why do you have man of the match for? I'm not saying he can't be or shouldn't be, because anyone that's in top tier is a candidate, in my opinion, for man of the match. So what about Harvey made you say he was man of the match? Obviously, he didn't score a goal, or obviously he didn't have a goal or any assists, but he did play really well. He set the tempo. Okay, I can understand that. I see, that's something I can appreciate, Dustin. That's what I think of. I think of like people that really do, like, he sets the tempo. He brings the emphasis of regulating what the game is going to, bring. I think that's important when you have players like that can really do that and can get others, if not sometimes even players that are not having good games, drag them along because of the emphasis of energy that you're bringing. I agree with it completely. Big up the realism, Jared. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it. Always showing the love and showing the respect. Appreciate it. Top red for sure. Definitely proper red. So Psychedelic Shalit has Curtis as his man of the match. Harvey second is a shout, but he's giving him his second shout. So we have Harvey as one. We have Curtis with, I think, 2, if not 3 shouts so far. Who else? Any shouts for Dom? I mean, look, I know Trent's probably not going to get it because he didn't have it. I thought Trent had a good game. I know that Darweezy isn't going to necessarily get it because he didn't score. Had an assist but didn't score. So it looks like the main three candidates are probably Dom. Because I thought Dom was on the front foot from the very beginning. He saw a difference in this game completely. So Dom, Curtis, and Harvey. Let's see. Lucky saying man of the match for him is going to either of the 3 midfielders, CJ, Dom, and Endo. Honorable mention for Harvey. I can see that. I think by popular demand, I think also one of the other Scousers on our team, I think that it needs to be your friend, my friend, Curtis Jones. I think it has to be Curtis Jones. Realism Jared saying man of the match, Jones, Simicast, and Endo. They're all shouts for sure. I like that Endo's getting I like the fact that in our forum that we share here, that Endo is getting proper love for the fact of no one said he's world class. No one said he's like, some amazing, top top 5 DMs in the world. I think that Endo does his job and he does what is asked of him for this team. And I think that's just great. So, and shout out to Joey G. I agree. Joey G, for sure. Shout out to Joey G. And I love Liverpool saying Jones back on top. I like it a lot. I like the fact that if we can solidify that position, yeah, man, it's gonna be fun times. Yeah, I understand that him at right back was very much key. I love Liverpool. So, man, the match looks like it's going to be Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones getting the man of the match. Big up to Curtis Jones. Big up to all of our Reds on a well done performance this weekend, or this week, excuse me, midweek performance. Just a lot of good things to see. A lot of good things. It's always fun when you're part of a 5. It would have been nice to have gotten the 5-0 victory, but it's always nice to see what happens when we're just clicking, when there's nothing really being pressed on. I know that there's some stuff going on with Klopp and a lot of his comments being taken out of context or his emphasis. It's something I've mentioned though. It's something that whether it's maybe. It's difficult to get a ticket to Anfield nowadays. A lot of times, football, in essence, has become more of a corporate affair when you see a lot of the people that are able to go, especially the people that are able to get the more coveted tickets. But realistically speaking, you know what? I believe that the essence and the passion and the true character of what Anfield should represent was very well something that we're going to need this weekend. That's all he's been emphasizing, and it's something that I agree with completely. We need everyone to be on bar. We don't need. I don't want to hear I don't want to hear the scrolls. I don't want to see them get the platforms, which they tend to do. Very often on these other platforms, you don't see. Participants like your Quasis or myself or your Ensman TVs or your Savages get the opportunity to go and participate on rival stations, especially because you know why? We're going to push back. We're going to stand up for our Reds. We're going to stand up for our players. We're not going to allow for the shit show, excuse my language, the SHIT show, to just be on full display and have them do their circus where they sit back and allow for us to take knocks and pot shots at our players that despite the asterisks of the Spurs game are playing on a team that's undefeated in the Premier League. Stand up for sure. Stand up always. I will for this club, and stand up for these players. I will. No doubt about it. So there is some other stuff too. Let me see if I don't know if I have my notes here or not. I'm just doing it off my head. So there is some promising or some really good news necessarily, at least the news I read. The last update, I know that there's other updates and this and that, but the last update that I saw was that Mach could be returning for. I know initially he was targeted to return possibly for this Arsenal matchup, but he's looking like he could be a return date of our Burnley matchup, which will be great to see because I really want to see Mach back into the fold. And what I also read, and that was and here I'll just get the actual quotes for you guys real quick. Let's see. Just give me 1 second. Because I did see that there's some news about not only Mecca, but there was news on Diego as well, I believe. Or not news on Diego, excuse me. I'm hoping Diego will be able to make it back for the Arsenal match. He is, I know, running. I know that we are being very, very, conservative with bringing him back, which is understandable and something that I can appreciate, because I don't want to necessarily rush him back. There's no reason to rush Diego back, despite the fact that we could utilize him or use him for what we have or have going on. But like, I just want to make sure that he is ready and able, as opposed to just like, dealing with what we're dealing with. And I think that we're all under the same pretense. I know I'm going into the extra time here, but you guys are worth it. So let me find this other statistic for you guys. So it was some really cool, good news though, for real. Let's see. One quick second. Where is this stupid folder? I'm looking for the folder. I just can't find the folder, unfortunately, that I put it in. It's not this folder. It's not that folder. Let's see. Maybe it might be in this folder. Basically, the what I was reading was this: is that we are possibly going. It's reported that we are going to be bringing back Nat Phillips. I don't know if anyone else has spoken on this or not yet. But yeah, apparently we're going to be bringing back Nat Phillips from we're going to be recalling him from loan. He's really not getting playing time, and currently, obviously with the injury to Matip, we do have a need for additional coverage at center back. And what else is noticeable as well is that Nat Phillips does a job for us. I mean, knows the system, knows how to play it. Obviously, it's coverage. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play. I mean, when he was one of the major reasons why he went out on loan is because we weren't necessarily playing. Here it is. We weren't necessarily playing a good bit of him as a necessary, even when it came to even sometimes when it came to utilizing other players in other competitions, we weren't necessarily seeing him get utilized that often. But yeah, that's what I've read. That's what I've heard, is that we're going to be bringing back Nat Phillips off of a loan, and we're calling him off a loan. And I'm not necessarily saying that's going to be then our center, that we're not going to go in it for center back. But it's a very interesting process that we're making. In not saying we're not going to go for a center back in the January window, but what I am saying is that I would look to see Nat Phillips be returning to the game, to our team. And as far as again with Maca, it was reported this is the Argentinian paper reporting that Maca is going to be available for the Burnley matchup. That was reported by an actual Argentinian source, a newspaper. So that I wanted to make sure I included before we bounced. Let me see what you guys got to say before we wrap this up. I love Liverpool saying facts too, bro. Too many panels invite negative fans to agree with them. It's wild. That's all they do, man. They're scared to bring myself or bring other people that are going to have are going to sit there and say, nah, bro, that's not happening on my watch. There's a reason why I got this badge on my chest. You know what I mean? Like I represent it to the fullest. These are my brethren. You know what I mean? We're not going to allow. I'm not here to push your agenda. I love Liverpool also says, as long as Hatta is back when Mo goes off the AFCON, I'm good. I agree. That's something. There's a lot of people that are saying that we might, not myself included, that we might. There's a outside chance that we might bring in an additional striker, or someone that has the versatility to play striker and / right wing. I don't think that we have, because Real Sociedad made it into the next round of Champions League. We're not going to go for the player I am looking or would like to see us bring in, and that is Kubo. I think there's a reason why we have. I want to utilize the fact that we have, not only a Japanese player on our team, but a Japanese player that has definitely maneuvered and adjusted to living in England, and speaks English, obviously speaks Japanese, but speaks English as well, and would be able to, make Kubo, if we do get that opportunity, make him be more at home and comfortable with his surroundings. I would love to see that. But yeah, big up, get well soon. I agree with this completely, to Lexi and to Diego and to Joel. I heard Hata, Mac 10, and Robbo could potentially return January 1st, and Thiago January 21st. That's a, what we saw Thiago in the crowd, actually, and I mean, like, the fact that he's, like, obviously that he's suited up, or at least he's in the parka and sitting on the bench and trying to contribute in the sense of showing guidance to players and everything else, and utilizing that veteran knowledge and football IQ that he has. I'm happy to see. I'm not really sweating it about Thiago. I appreciate the fact that Thiago is a part of our team. I'm looking forward to when he does get the opportunity to contribute, and when he does, there's going to be a lot of people that probably never driven, or much less ridden in a Benz, or excuse me, in a Bentley. They're going to be like, yeah, these seats are nice. They're gonna enjoy. They're gonna realize and recognize what it was like to take the Bentley out that first time when we went up against, when we initially introduced Thiago to the team, and we saw all the beautiful passes and facilitation that he could do. There's gonna be a lot of people eating crow, and all of a sudden doing what they do the best, which is having amnesia, temporary amnesia. Realism Jared says, sad to say, the atmosphere at Anfield has been shocking. Fans have no desire to get the team up, and the singing is done by the away fans throughout the game. Yes, what's funny is that, like, when we saw the Europa nights, you could see that those teams, albeit Europa is a little bit of a downplay for Anfield standards, but yet it's still the competition that we're in. So make the most of it. The sheer fact that you're getting the opportunity to go to Anfield, and, like, there's some, like, I've already checked into it. I think it's like a 9-year, because I want to eventually get Liverpool season tickets. There's a 9-year or something ridiculous, like waiting list or something like that to try to get tickets. Like, the sheer fact that you're having the opportunity to go and be not necessarily walk through that tunnel, but to be in the place where our boys are going to be walking through to bring glory to us on that pitch. Man, if you can't get riled up and revved up and excited for that matter alone, I don't know what it is. You're the kind of person, you're the kind of guy that Viagra or Cialis isn't even going to work on or something. So that's that. But but it is what it is. That's a savage comment. I know that's a little too much, but all right. Robbo 2 now way, bro. That would be sick. Even though Simicast has been killer lately. Oh yes, Robbo making a return for sure. Yeah, Robbo's gonna be making a return pretty soon. I don't have the update. You know what? I do have an update. Or not necessarily update, but I do have an injury report. You know what? What I'll do is, for my preview, I'll go through the injury report that I can consolidate it for everyone, for our team, for that matchup. This is going to be interesting, the team that we field for that game. Lucky L says, don't bring him back because he's going to be a bench warmer at LFC. He'll get better game time away from LFC. I'm not sure who Lucky is referencing here. And then tell me who you're referencing, Lucky, if you're still in the chat. And then I Love Liverpool is saying, bring Nat home, Carvalho too. Backups always welcome. I agree, man. I don't. You know what is weird about Nat? Understands it. Nat gets it. Nat is, really, really good. But I'm very interested to see if Carvalho has been humbled by his loan, and if he's ready to really understand the fact that, look, Liverpool is possibly the best club you will ever see or ever have the opportunity of playing for. Liverpool will be possibly your Camelot if you just put in the hard work and stop, having whoever's in your camp or whoever is bigging you up so much that you don't have the fortitude to understand hard work, dedication brings differences and makes differences. The sheer fact that the young man that you befriended so well, I saw their friendship. Harvey and Fab were very good friends in camps and during the process, because they were going through a lot of the same, in that wanting to break into the starting 11, much less break into getting playing time, period, once again. And, Harvey's taken that humble pie. Harvey's understood that role model, that role that needs to be taken. Hopefully Fab has a little bit of humble pie and understands the fact of, hey, you know what? I know you're a talent, but it takes more than just talent to be a true Red. It takes more than just talent. Heart, dedication, hard work, commitment. All these things have to be a part of your mindset. And if they're not, then you're not going to see success. Just plain and simple. Not just on talent, at least. We can upgrade on Phillips. Who still uses Phillips products in 2023? I get you, but Natty Phillips does the job, man. Natty Phillips will do what we need him to do, which is he'll, if necessary, if you said the football was on the other side of a wall, Natty Phillips will put his head through that wall to get to that ball. I mean, who doesn't want to add a Prem title trophy to the resume, even if you're on the bench for half a season? I agree completely. Realism, Jared, I appreciate it. Road to 1K for sure. 1K. Hopefully it'll be road to 10K, then 100K. Then all of my Mighty Red Army here will be able to say we were from the gate, from the beginning. I hope that happens. I'm not on scouting mission, but from PL. Oh, okay, I got you. I don't know. You know what? That's a good shout. I mean, like an interesting shout at least. And I guess it all depends on what they do with Tony. And I think that there's been reports that Tony doesn't want a January exit, and I think that's good for him. I think that shows better character than anything. I think that if anything, for Tony, if the roles were reversed and Tony was a player that had screwed up and bet and gotten suspended for half a year and had the opportunity to make up for our club, even though we could make money for him or even whatever the case might have been, I would give more credence or more props, more respect for a player that goes and says, you know what, I want to go back. I want to get back into the club and show these fans, show this club, show my teammates, show my coach. I'm sorry that I want to show that I want to contribute and help make a push for this club, make a real concerted effort for this club to make them a better team. That shows more, in my mind, a real player when it comes to me. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I just think that, not saying, I know I haven't been necessarily the biggest Ivan Toney fan. I respect him as a player. I think he's a good player, and all that said and done, I just don't like the fact that he took it upon himself to be selfish and do something he knew was illegal and get caught for it. I don't care that whether he got caught or whether he wasn't doing it. The fact that it's come to light that he did do it shows that he took a wicked pisser, okay, okay, on his teammates and his club and his fans and people that are saying we don't care. You guys aren't looking at the fact that this club does not bring in dickheads. This club does not bring in the no dickhead policy, as I've heard it called. This club brings in the right character players. And if you're not the right character player, you will see the door. And that's what it takes to have a really concise and appropriate team that can contend on all fronts. And that's what I want. That's what I love about this club. But yeah, let's see. No forwards will be brought unless they are offloading or they know someone is going. Klopp only wants 5, no more. That's what Realism Jared's saying. I get that, but you know what's sad and kind of kind of disappointing is that it looks like Doak is injured once again, or I know he had an injury earlier in the year, but it was different. I think it was a shoulder last time. This time it's his it's a knee injury, and it's a shame because there's so much anticipation, or for this young man to really do well, and it's a matter of I'm cool with just having 5 forwards. I understand that. Obviously, I can understand your statement. Obviously, it was a little bit, I wouldn't say closer to 6, but it was, we had technically 6 forwards going on because of Doak being included occasionally under that pretense. But I can understand what you're saying. I'm cool with just the 5. And let's see, for sure, there's a Rolls Royce. Yeah, Rolls Royce. Thiago is a Bentley with the top. Thiago is a drop top Bentley, dog. He is a drop top Bentley. He can drop it like it's hot, for sure. Pause. Let's see. And I agree with the Carvalho thought. You know what I mean? I'm hoping. I think that's the reason why we sent him. We didn't send him to a club that was like a shit club. We sent him to a club that, hey, if you think you have all this talent, if you think you have all this ability, and that we are just the only ones unable to see this and are shafting you in a sense, by not giving you the opportunity to make a real play. Hey, here's a club that can utilize your talents, that is willing to, and obviously has an interest. And he's a humble pie for him, And it's, I love Liverpool saying, "Preach, bro, humble yourself, Fab." Let's see, what else do we have? There was a question here about I think it was about the upcoming game. I did see it. I think it was by Psychedelic Shaolin, who asked, he asked this, and I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts too. Will you start Harvey versus Arsenal or Mo? What's funny is I saw Cal make that call in not starting Mo. If you think that Mo Salah against Arsenal at Anfield will be cool with you telling him, Mo, I think we're going to go a different direction today. We're going to have you sit on the bench. And if you think that conversation is even remotely going to be had, okay, oh my goodness. To say the least, brothers and sisters, that is not happening. That is just not happening. But I think that Harvey's a good shout to be a sub for certain. He'll certainly find his way onto the pitch one way or another. Let's see. Realism Jarrett, says the 6 forward clock will always place academy play, as it should be, to give players a route in. Yeah, I agree completely agree. But yeah, no. As Dustin says, nah. Salah starts. There's no way he doesn't start. You know what I mean? And let's see, I love Liverpool saying, I would start Harvey over Mo for real, but never going to happen. That's very interesting. He says, the fact that combo even has to happen, in my opinion, with Mo, is my issue with Mo. Nobody is bigger than the team. And I'm not saying he's bigger than the team. You're absolutely right. I'm not saying those things. But I also think that we can all agree that there is a fabric when it comes to the locker room. And there's a fabric when I say fabric, it means like as in you, as much as we preach the whole team before, badge before player, that team before player type concept, no player is bigger than the team concept. I get that. And I understand that completely. I just know that there's, when it comes to Mo Salah, you know what, to say to Mo, hey, you're going to sit in the biggest game of the year for us, possibly one of the most influential games for the determination of how our season goes. And I don't think that conversation is I don't think that's one that I just don't think that that's one that Klopp wants to even. I don't think he wants to rock the boat. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think Klopp wants to. I think Klopp is smart enough that he doesn't want to rock the boat. He wants to get the most out of Mo. I don't think that that's the. I don't think doing that will be the motivator for Mo. I think if anything, if you do that, you've basically taken the last nail and hammered it into the coffin of Mo Salah leaving this team and moving on to Saudi Arabia. I don't think that that's a guaranteed conclusion for Mo at any measure of the word, despite the fact that, of course, there's reasons to understand why Mo would want to move to Saudi Arabia. But I just think that if you do that, you're setting up unnecessary drama. That's what I'm trying to get across. I think you're setting yourself up for unnecessary drama. It's something that none of us necessarily need. I don't want to see Mo sitting on the bench pissed off. I don't want to see any of that stuff. I get that it's team over player, but all the same, these individuals, superstars are superstars all the same. It's difficult. It's the reason why there's sometimes a description of there's a description of being a good coach and sometimes being a good manager. And there's sometimes a difference in the words, because you could be a good coach in that the X's and O's and everything else and blah, blah, blah. Or you could be a good manager in that you know how to manage players and the egos and everything else that you're going to have. And I think that Klopp has done a really phenomenal job in doing that, whether it was with Mane, whether it was with Mo, obviously, whether it was with Henderson, who as of late we've heard more about how his ego can sometimes have affected the locker room and affected how things went on. But I just think that realistically, we're going to see Mo this weekend. It's just that simple. Let's see. And you guys are going to enjoy my preview for Arsenal, because I'm going to put some possible potential players to score some goals. I'm not going to say it's going to be some blowout. I'm not going to say it's going to be. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think Arsenal's a formidable foe. I think that they're looking at this game as a game that they need. They're looking at it as a game that they're not going to go in and park the bus. They're going to actually try to most likely try to play against us. And also they're looking. There's a lot of Arsenal players or Arsenal fans, namely like your Gunnar Lees, that are out there already saying how much. I'm gonna give the spoiler alert. Endo scores this weekend, and I'm hoping he scores because I want Endo to do some samurai slice to Gunnar Lee and his absolutely disrespectful, absolutely ugly bull crap. The fact that guy quote unquote walked with us for our runs for silverware is just funny. I'm not saying anything against Gunnar Lee in the sense of that he's a bad person or this or that or blah blah blah. Because I know me and Gunnar Lee went back and forth a little bit. I know he's called me out a couple of times. He's actually gotten out of pocket once or twice. But you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. I know Gunnar Lee is, I think, he's like 6'4". I'm 6'1". He's like 6'3" or something like that. I hear Gunnar Lee is a big guy, but he doesn't understand. I don't really care how tall you are. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a crap. I don't cower to any man. So especially not a Gunnar. So when it comes to this all, I love it. I love the fact that he was absolutely SHIT in on our players. Good for you, Gunnar. I think he's going into this game the same way that a lot of us went into the Manchester United game, with a lot of chest, a lot of like whatever it is. So that is. Oh, he's 6'7". That's cool. That's what's up. Hey, I played basketball, dog. I know plenty of people that size, much less taller, but all the same. I am definitely looking forward to definitely having him eat humble pie. I think that it's going to be a fun matchup. I think it's going to be unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a barnstormer or something that's going to be crazy, but I'll save that for tomorrow, because what I'm going to do, I was supposed to have a show this weekend, but the artist that I had scheduled. We ended up canceling the artist this weekend because it ends up being, I guess, a little bit too close to Christmas. So ticket sales weren't where we want them. So all the same, now I had the weekend off, so that means I'll have a lot more time to have fun. So yeah, I like this. I agree. I heard that rumor. That rumor might be true. That rumor might be true. He just happens to have some he wears the platform shoes. How about that? Give him a little extra height. Because that's what we see. Hey, I'm so excited about this matchup. I'm not scared. Like TFT has the hot headlines on about this upcoming matchup. Not scared at all. If you got scared business, take it elsewhere because we don't run like that. Original Don Dada, you know what I mean? So with that said, shout out to all those who know the belly reference that I just made. But yeah, I'm looking for a really good matchup. I like the fact that we had a really coming out performance for a lot of different individuals that are, fringe players, cusp players, role players, players that are looking for form, that are starters. I like the fact that, hey, let's definitely round in the form and find ourselves in some proper company, and that is, or in our proper place, and that is top of the league. Let's get back to the top of the league, people. I want to see us top of the league going into January, and I know you do too. So with that said, if there's nothing else you guys want to really talk about, I think wait, let me get this one last topic. Okay, I'll get these last two couple of topics. Don't know why people's height matters. Humans are still very basic and refuse to use their prefrontal cortex because as a species we are still extremely immature. Okay, wow, I like it. Yeah, Realism Jared dropping some Bill the Science Guy type knowledge on us. I'm going to do so what I've been aiming to do is to do my stream, do my content. Normally UK time would be in that 11 o'clock hour stream, like, so do it right before going into lunch style stream. Somewhere in there is normally where I'm looking to make a difference. So usually like around either noon or 11 o'clock UK time is when I'm targeting, because being my time, comparatively speaking, is like I'm 7 or 8 hours, I think, something like that, between UK time. And then also sometimes it's a little bit more difficult for some of these games because, sometimes I'm waking up at 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, and I can't get the previews in before the games, which I would love to do. Sometimes it's even that more difficult sometimes to stay awake after the games, despite me, bubbling with excitement from hopefully the win that we just sustained. But I appreciate the love. I love Liverpool. Just hit the notification bell, man. Just put it on all for my broadcast, and because I enjoy the fact that you guys are able to show the love and everything else. But yeah, maybe the frontal cortex will be circulating, populating this weekend. And yeah, man, I'll see. So tomorrow I'll create the thumbnail in the next like half hour, and I'll put it in so that we can all join together tomorrow on Friday, and yeah, right, tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah, I had to make sure what day it was. Sometimes it gets like that, people. Yeah, so tomorrow, Friday, and yeah, I wish all of you a good day. Make the most out of the day as you can, or if it is for some of you, make the evening the most you can. Marion, I know, big up Marion, showing love. I know it's evening time, possibly bedtime for her, so I appreciate her showing some love and representing. Yeah, and to Carmino, definitely. CP, I appreciate you too. I would say, yeah, let's just make the most of everything. You know, if anything, coming on to this, we're getting closer to this big game on Saturday, getting closer to Christmas, getting closer to possibly having the weekend to bring family closer to your home, closer to you. You know, I wish the best for each and every one of you. You know, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I'll definitely see you before the New Year, so that'll be cool. And at most, and anything, you know what? Continue to make those. Continue to make not only take care of yourself, but continue to make an honest effort to take care of those amongst us, especially our fellow Reds. And I wish the best for each and every one of you. You know, why not? You know what I mean? Because if we can't stand up for each other, then who's going to stand up for us? You know, for us. So I say, hey, I'm there with you. I'm always going to walk with you. You're my Reds always and forever, for sure. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Big up to everyone. And yeah, see you soon. Take care, you guys.